Hello everybody, welcome to the world's greatest Bronze Age comic book podcast, Flea Market Fantasy. I am your co-host, Mike L, and as always I'm joined by...
Michael Dell of the LCS Hockey Radio Show.
That's right, and this week it is my pick, and that is why we are reviewing DC's The Outsiders #1.
Yeah, and this is Pony Boy and Soda Pop and all those greasers.
No, it's a different Outsiders. It's not that Outsiders, yeah.
I read the wrong book.
Oh, crap. Okay, well, at least you read a book about an early appearance by Tom Cruise, right?
Yes. I can't remember who he played in The Outsiders.
He was Soda Pop, I think.
Was he?
I think so.
Who was Rob Lowe then? I thought Rob Lowe was...
Oh, wait a minute. Here, let's just do this. Outsiders cast.
He was Jimmy. I think Tom Cruise was Jimmy.
Oh, wait, no. Wait, Rob Lowe was Soda Pop. Tom Cruise was Steve. He was the only one without a cool name. But come on. Give him a cool name.
I was making a joke calling him Jimmy, but yeah, I was close. Steve. Yeah. All right, but anyway, yeah, that was the different Outsiders. This Outsiders is...
I hope you did your research on these characters because they're awesome.
I did.
Woo!
I actually did a little bit. All right, so this is... we're doing Outsiders issue 1 from 1985.
Yeah.
And this team was created by Mike W. Barr and Jim Aparo, two people we've talked about before on this show many times with Barr. I think Aparo may have just been that Brave and the Bold episode, or maybe episode 2 of Flea Market Fantasy.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
But so we don't have to get into them. But Jim Aparo, one of the all-time Batman artists, right? Like
absolutely, yeah. Probably drew Batman more than anyone. Yep.
And then Michael W. Barr or Mike W. Barr. I know he did that Batman special #1 we did with our buddy Miles Watson.
Well, he had a famous Batman run with Alan Davis, Detective Comics in the mid '80s, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Mid like '86ish, around there. It was really critically acclaimed and popular.
I always forget that Alan Davis drew Batman.
Yeah, Alan Davis is the one that quit after one issue of Batman Year 2. Yeah.
I remember we talked about that during the Excalibur run. Didn't they? They wanted to make him change a gun, right, or something?
That's right.
Joe Chill, and yeah.
That's right. Yep.
All right, but anyway, those are the guys responsible for this. And the Outsiders' first appearance was in Brave and the Bold issue 200 in 1983. That's where the team made their first appearance. And I believe that was the final issue of Brave and the Bold, right?
Yes, it was. Yep, you're right.
So they killed the book. They showed up and they said, "Oh, this book's done. The Outsiders are here. Let's close up shop." So then Batman and the Outsiders started in August 1983. Mm-hmm. And then Batman left. Well, maybe we should talk about what the Outsiders. That name means that they were like superheroes who are outside the mainstream superhero world, right?
Right. They're outside the law, for one, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know if they're outside the law, are they?
Well...
That would imply that they're breaking the law.
Okay. Well, technically all superheroes are vigilantes, right?
I suppose, but usually they uphold the law, though. Mm-hmm. So they're within the law. But yeah. What was I going to say? So Batman, I guess the way this all started, there's some Eastern European country named Markova.
Right.
And there was an insurrection led by the evil, what's that guy's name again? Captain Bedlam? Or what was his name? Baron Bedlam?
Baron Bedlam, yep.
Baron Bedlam. Was that the guy was he in that Mr. Miracle book we did that I was making fun of all the names?
No. That was, I don't remember who that was. But yeah, it wasn't Baron Bedlam.
Names. But when I read this name, I was like, that's a ridiculous name. But Baron Bedlam. And so Batman, he wanted the Justice League to help him. And they said, "Hey, Batman, it's an Eastern European country. We don't give a rat's ass." Mm-hmm. And they said, "We're not helping you." So he went on his own because, Superman's a jerk. So he went over there. Really, it would have taken Superman like 5 seconds to put down an insurrection. But he's like, no, I'm too busy, Batman. So Batman had to get some other suit. He got Black Lightning to go with him to help him out. And then when they got over there, they encountered a bunch of other people who we'll talk about in a minute. And then they defeated Baron Bedlam, and then they decided, hey, let's stick together as a team because Batman doesn't have enough to do in the world. He's already in the Justice League and everything else. So, all right. So he started Batman and the Outsiders. And that book, like we said, started in August 1983, and then Batman left in issue 32.
Right.
So then the title was changed to Adventures of the Outsiders.
Right.
And then that series ended with issue 46. Yes. In
but
1987.
there's another confusing part about that. I'm not sure if you know about that.
There's a very big confusing part about it. But let me get to that in a minute. But so Batman leaves the book, and then people realize, why am I still reading this if Batman's not here? Is that what happened? That's basically what happened. Kids were buying it because Batman was there. And then once he left, they're like, what the fuck is this? So then the series ended. All right. But here's where it gets confusing. And God bless DC again, Michael, but what come on, they're a mess. But so The Outsider started in 1985, the book we're reading here today.
Right.
That started in 1985, and it ran for 28 issues.
Right.
And that's how long it took for people to realize, hey, Batman's not in this one either. But then, but here's the confusing part. It was published alongside Batman and The Outsiders. So you had both books being published at the same time, yet this book, The Outsiders, was set 1 year in the future after Batman and the Outsiders ended.
Right, yes.
So, again, oh my God, DC. Why, Michael? Why?
So, would you like to know why?
Yes, I would.
So, this is what DC did. They experimented with a new format called Baxter format, okay?
Okay.
And basically...
I thought they experimented with confusing their readers.
No. So what happened was they picked their 3 most popular titles, which, by the way, were Legion of Superheroes, The New Teen Titans, and The Outsiders.
What?
Yes.
There's no way.
Yes.
Well, how come Batman? You're telling me Batman wasn't their most popular title?
Actually, no. Outsiders sold better than Batman, if you can believe that.
Wow. That
at
is
this time, at least. Yeah.
Scathing indictment against Batman, but all right.
So what they did was they started... This is technically the first ever, mid-series reboot where, you get a new number 1 while the other series is still out, okay? Yes. And so Outsiders number 1 comes out while while Batman and the Outsiders is still going on. And then after, I think it was, I'm looking it up now. I think it was after 7 months.
Yeah, it was only a few months, and then Batman left. Right?
And then Batman left, and then Outsiders became Adventures of the Outsiders. Now it was drawn by Alan Davis, and then this is where it gets even weirder. Okay, and this is what Legion and New Titans did. Then Adventures of the Outsiders does new stories with Alan Davis to fill the gap. Then once it gets, then once they get to about 12 issues in, they start reprinting The Outsiders in Adventures of the Outsiders. Okay? But the reason for this is because the Baxter comics were not sold on newsstands. They were only sold in comic shops. So technically, if you were a kid just buying, comics at a corner store, then you would not have access to the Baxter series. So you had to wait a full year to catch up to where those stories were. So, yeah, that's why they did that.
Good Lord. DC.
Yeah.
And alive. Yeah, so I hope everyone understood that.
Yeah.
Scoring at home. So should we talk about the team now of the Outsiders? Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 main people in the Outsiders. And that their leader... Because I guess Batman technically wasn't the leader even when he was on the team. He was just like he was like a guardian or something.
Well, I guess he was like the Professor X, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be a good way of saying it. Yeah, so like the Cyclops in this scenario would be Geoforce.
Right.
Geoforce, and he was Prince Brian Markov, the prince of that aforementioned Markovia or whatever, that Eastern European country.
Right.
And he, like I said, he was the prince of that country that was facing the insurrection by the evil Baron Bedlam. So a Dr. Helga Jace created some device that gave him superpowers. And would you like to describe his superpowers?
To my limited knowledge, he's basically able to control, the Earth. So he can, he can basically fly, but he can also, move rocks around and, that's his basic thing, the Earth.
And I think he has some super strength and durability.
I think so, yeah.
But, not Superman levels or anything, but, stronger than the average fella. That's Geoforce. I don't. And most of unless I say otherwise, these people all premiered in Brave and the Bold 200.
Right.
They're all crazy.
And we should also say, wait, he started with a brown and orange costume, which I prefer, and then he got a green and yellow costume.
This green and yellow costume is god awful.
Yeah, it's garish.
It is terrible because it's just got like a big GF on the chest, right?
Right.
And just awful.
Not great.
Yeah, it looks like something out of the 50s, maybe, if the 50s are really bad.
Yeah, in fact, all these costumes are kind of retro. I think that's what they were going for, though. But
so next up, we have Katana.
Yeah.
And her real name is Tatsu Yamashiro. And her backstory is pretty sad. It's pretty tragic. Are you familiar with this backstory?
Actually, no, I don't remember it, no.
All right, so she was, there are two brothers who were in love with her. And she chose the one brother to marry, and then the other brother got pissed.
Right.
And so she had like, I think twins with her husband, and they're living a happy life. But then this other guy was so bitter, he came after them, and he killed the other dude. He killed his own brother with some fancy sword. And then, so this Tatsu lady, she fought him off, and I guess she ended up... because this fancy sword is the Soul Taker sword, and I guess like this sword takes the souls of whoever it kills. So her husband's soul is now in this sword, and then she used that sword to beat the other guy, and then I guess her kids also died.
Huh?
In this whole thing.
That's like Shakespearean level tragedy right there.
It's pretty horrible. But she wanted to get revenge against the person who gave the brother the sword or whatever originally. So that's how she got to Markovia, because that guy was in Markovia helping out Baron Bedlam. I can't remember his name, but it was Steve probably.
Yeah. Steve Bedlam, yeah.
So, but yeah, she's got the old katana blade, and now she's part of the Suicide Squad, correct?
Yes. Yeah, she is. Yep.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, anything else about Katana you'd like to say?
Nothing. I just think she's a pretty cool character, you know?
Her costume nowadays, like what I've seen, is way cooler than this version of whatever she's wearing.
Yeah, I'm actually going to look that. Yeah, because now she appeared in the Flash TV show or Arrow TV show, and then she was also in the first Suicide Squad movie, right?
I've never seen any of them Suicide Squads.
Okay.
I just couldn't tell she was on that team. So
yeah, now her costume is she's got like the Japanese flag kind of like on her face, so it's really cool now. Yeah.
But describe the old one. It's kind of like she's wearing like a I don't know.
It's like it's like yellow. Okay, basically yellow boots. Wait, hold on a second. I'm gonna have to go back now because I'm like looking up all her costumes. Just a minute here. Hold on. It's
kind of like red and yellow, but
yeah, that's the theme. It's almost like a version of a what do you want to call it? Like not a samurai, but like she has those things on her waist that kind of hang off the side of her waist, kind of like a samurai, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
And then like red legs or whatever, baggy yellow sleeves, and then like yellow stripes kind of down the side of her legs, and then like almost like not hairy boots, but what would you call that?
I don't know. I'm not looking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, here, let me just go back to this other one. Yeah, it's kind of like furry boots. There you go. And then hairy boots. And then she has this funky like belt with like a cool design on it, and like kind of like the sun on her chest, but it has like 4 beams coming out of it. And then she has black gloves, and she has a red mask, and that's it. Oh, and then black boots, and then she has black hair, kind of cut like what would you call that haircut? Like
a Ringo?
Kind of. I was gonna say like a bowl cut, but it's one of those ones where there's bangs, but then it also goes down at the side. So
and again, black furry boots.
Right,
black
furry boots. All right. Yep.
All right, so that's Katana. Next up, we have Halo.
Yep.
Halo, and she goes by the name Gabrielle Doe, like a deer. A female deer. And she's a combination of Violet Harper, a murdered sociopath, and an oracle, which is an energy being of some other dimension or something like that, right?
Right.
So apparently these oracle people, they were monitoring this Violet Harper lady because they thought she was fascinating. Was she like going around killing people or something? This Violet Harper?
Well, I've read most of the issues of the series, and when she was introduced, she had no memory, and then as time went on, she found out that she used to be a murderer. Yes, but I don't think they ever really showed it. It was more like flashbacks.
Yeah, so this Violet Harper, and again, she seems to be a very young murderer. Because she's portrayed as like a teenage girl, right? Like a 18-year-old.
Yeah, definitely teens, I would say.
Blonde girl.
Yeah, she's underage. She can't drink, so.
Yeah. So, and by the way, what is the drinking age in Canada? 18?
Oh, good question. It is 18. Yeah. Oh, no, sorry, 19. 19.
19? That's odd.
Yep, 19.
Right.
I think it was 18 at one point, and then they raised it back up.
All right.
Yeah.
Either way, she's in the States, so.
Yeah.
She's not legal to drink. But I think if you're an Oracle, 12 you can drink. At 12, you're an Oracle.
What's that?
If you're an Oracle, or whatever these aliens are.
Oh! Okay, I missed that. All right.
All right, but anyway, so they were monitoring this Violet Harper lady. And I guess, I don't know why, but they were, and then when she died, she was killed by somebody, I can't remember his name, I don't know, someone murdered her. And then, like, at that moment, somehow this energy being got sucked into her body and reanimated her body. So now it created this Halo girl who's a combination of the energy being and this old murderer lady. Well, young murderer lady, I guess. But yeah. That's very confusing, Michael.
Yes.
So, and she has powers like the rainbow. About like she glows like the rainbow. And like she has different... each color of the rainbow kind of like she'll glow or something and can do a different kind of power.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Cool.
Would you like to explain more about her? Or
well, like, do you want me to describe her costume?
It's all black with
and
it's rainbows on it.
Yeah, it's got like it's like kind of like a weird asymmetrical pattern of like there's like there's like a white ball on her chest, but then it's like beams of other colors are coming out, like blue, yellow, and red, and they're going all in different directions. And then her legs are kind of like rainbowed. So it goes black, then red, then yellow, then blue, then black. And again, it's an asymmetrical costume. And then she used to have long hair, but in this issue, she has her hair is cut short. And also, her character is to basically be really naive, right? Like that's she has no memory and she doesn't really know how anything works. So
it's kind of like Long Shot. You did Long Shot last time.
Yeah, you can say that. And Katana is kind of like looks over her like an older sister, basically.
Yeah, I read Katana as her legal guardian.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
So like Katana lost her family, so she's taking care of this young girl as like her child. So that's nice. Right. Next up, we have Looker. Looker, just a lady that's foxy, so they call her Looker. But she didn't start out foxy, Michael. She was Emily Briggs, a mousy bank teller who lived a quiet life with her husband. But she was kidnapped by the underground civilization known as Abyssia. Have you ever heard of it?
I don't think so, no.
So these Abyssian people, they said, hey, guess what, Emily Briggs? You're actually one of us. Somehow you have, in your heritage, you're one of us. And then when Halley's Comet went past the Earth, it gave her superpowers.
Cool.
And she's like a telepath and telekinetic, and she can do some other stuff. But not only did it give her powers, Miguel, it made her foxy.
Oh, good.
She grew and she became like a model, like a real good looking lady. And she has red hair, and she can like look at people. That's her gimmick. She said, hey, look at my eyes or whatever. And she can like hypnotize them and make them fall in love with her and stuff like that.
Cool.
Looker. Can you tell us anything else about Looker?
Well, no, I didn't read any of her appearances before this one, so I don't know much about her, but I can describe her costume.
Sure.
Very unique costume. So essentially it looks like she's wearing, I don't want to say a bathing suit, but like a one-piece bathing suit that goes from her neck all the way to the bottom of her foot. And I stress foot, not feet, because it only covers one of her legs. So that side's all pink. Then like at a diagonal line, the left side of her outfit is black, but then it gets weirder because then her cape is white. She has a collar that's white. One glove is white, and then her left leg is completely bare except for a white shoe.
Yeah, like a white high-heeled boot. A cut-off boot. But it reminds me of, do you know Ruby Riott, Michael?
No, is that a wrestler?
Yes, it is. It's a lady wrestler. Now she's in AEW. Wrestles as Ruby Soho.
Really?
But the day she was Ruby Riott. And she had an outfit like that where one leg was bare and the other one was covered the whole way. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm looking her up right now. I don't think she's as good looking as Looker, is she?
No. She's a punk rock girl. You know, she's not a Looker. She didn't get superpowers when Haley's comment went past.
Right.
But so that's the Looker. Now who else? We got 2 left. Yeah, these are a lot of people. Next up, we got Metamorpho.
Yeah.
Metamorpho, real name Rex Mason.
Mm-hmm.
And his first appearance was The Brave and the Bold issue 57, 1965.
Right.
And he is created by Bob Haney and Ramona Fradon.
Mm-hmm.
And he was an adventurer hired to retrieve the Orb of Ra, an ancient Egyptian artifact. And it eventually ended up giving him superpowers. Because there's he got the guy who hired him for the gig started to get mad at him, so he kind of sabotaged him, and he got beat up. And but then this meteorite, a radioactive meteorite where the Orb of Ra came from, gave him powers then. And basically he has all the powers. He can turn his body into any element, right?
Yes.
And he's very distinctive looking. If you've never heard, I'm sure if you've seen DC Comics from at some point between the 60s and now, you probably have encountered Metamorpho at some point, and you recognize him if you saw him.
Very cool.
Describe this character, Michael.
So his skin is white and kind of, I think it's supposed to be not normal texture. So his face he's bald. So basically his head, he's got a bald head. He's got one left bare leg that's white.
Just like the Looker.
Just like the Looker, right. And then he's got an orange and purple shirt. So the right side is orange and the left side is purple. Then he has black underwear. And then his right leg is sometimes, I think it's supposed to be kind of wood, but I think it just depends on the artist or whatever. But the idea is that, since he can change his body into any element, that I think his 2 different legs are supposed to be 2 different elements,
Yeah, he can change different parts of his body into different elements if he wants to.
Right,
right.
Kind
of, so basically, he's kind of invulnerable in a way because, and he's immortal too. I read, right? You can technically kill him in a way, but he can always be brought back to life by.
Yeah, I think he died, and then a few
times.
It says here at least 3 times. So yeah.
But he is very distinctive looking. He has pretty cool powers. I never knew much about Metamorpho, but I always thought he's cool when I saw him. And so there you go. That's Metamorpho. And finally, save the best for last, Black Lightning.
Yeah.
Real name Jefferson Pierce. First appearance, Black Lightning 1, 1977, created by Tony Isabella and Trevor Von Eden.
That's right.
And he was DC's first African-American superhero with his own series. That's a key distinction.
Was there? Who were the other black characters?
They had a bunch, but a lot of them were, they never headlined a series, but they were supporting characters.
Green Lantern would be one, right? John Stewart.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
He was one of them. That Bronze Tiger fella from the Suicide Squad. He was one of them. But he's the first fella to have his own series. So Black Lightning, now he was a school teacher in the crime-ridden area of Suicide Slum in Metropolis. Now this is just me, but if I'm born in Suicide Slum, I'm getting the hell out of there. I don't want to live in Suicide Slum. Hey, honey, where should we settle down? I know, Suicide Slum. Let's get our house over there. Again, DC, right on the nose with these names.
Yeah, I know.
Suicide Slum. But he was a school teacher, and the original story was that he invented some fancy belt that gave him electrical powers.
Right.
But then they kind of retconned that, right, Michael? And they said he was a metahuman. That he just had these powers with electricity and whatnot. right?
Yeah, trust me, I've read the first year's worth of Black Lightning, and I've interviewed Tony Isabella, and I still can't figure out how that all worked out, with the belt and the metahuman and all that stuff. So
you often point this out, that in comic books they'll have a character start off with a fake power, like
right,
and then they'll somehow develop it naturally. I love
that. It's my favorite / least favorite thing about superheroes.
And I'm sure I've told this before, but when I was a little kid, I have a sister who's older than me, like 5 years older than me, and I had this little DC Comics memory game. It was like a big board, like a 64 panel board with little flip panels, and you had to match superheroes or villains. Like you flipped over one, where was Superman? Oh, row 3, panel 4. Then you take them off the board. Well, Black Lightning was on there, and unless I got Black Lightning, I cried.
Oh yeah.
He was my favorite. So eventually, my sister just said, all right, whenever we played the game, she would just give me Black Lightning.
Nice. Look at that.
I love Black Lightning.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah. So there you go. Hey, do you ever watch that Black Lightning TV show?
I started to watch it the first year, and then I kind of lost interest. I mean, to be honest, have you seen it?
I watched the first episode.
Yes.
And I thought it was fine for what it was in terms of you know what you're getting with those DC WB shows. Is it WB or whatever?
CW.
CW, whatever. You know what you're in for. You're not expecting great literature and stuff. But the thing that annoyed me was his costume looked terrible, I thought.
It did. Yes, it looks terrible. The one in the comics, the original, is great. I love it.
Yes. This one it was like puffy or something. I don't know.
And it was like armor.
Weird.
It was like armor. It almost had like a lit up lightning on his suit, which I didn't like.
Yeah, so that's why I just tapped out. I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Well, the other thing I didn't like, to be honest, was that if you remember the cliffhanger of episode 1, was that, remember he has 2 daughters?
Yes.
Well, the cliffhanger of episode 1 was you find out, one of them might have superpowers.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's just, come on. And now you skip ahead to season 3 and you find out both of them have superpowers. And it just, I mean, granted, I shouldn't be expecting realism, but can't we just focus on the main character before we start introducing other family members with superpowers? That's just my thing.
Yeah, I hear you. That would have made more sense. Maybe at the end of season 1.
Right. Like there you go.
Yeah. So, all right. So here we go. Anything else? Can we get into this book? The Outsiders.
Yeah, sure. The Outsiders. All right. So we got the cover here. And keep in mind, this is on Baxter paper. We got the cover here. This is a classy looking cover. There's no dialogue. There's no captions. There's nothing. It just says The Outsiders. We got the DC Bullet 125. That's 160 in Canada. November 1985. And we've got, and just for the record, this original logo, you may not be able to tell because it's digital, but it was actually gold metallic ink on that cover. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, because it looks green here.
Right, it just looks crappy here, yeah. And we've got this really cool, basically a pinup of the Outsiders. The whole team standing there. Geoforce is in the foreground, or the rest are all kind of behind him. Looker's way in the back. That's Looker.
Yep.
And basically we have like an atomic, like electrons flying around them, and that's basically the cover.
Yeah, it also says by Mike W. Barr and Jim Aparo right on the cover.
Right.
That was unusual for the day, right?
Yeah, I think DC started that, putting their names right on the cover, as far as I know. Yeah.
It's a classic comic book art here,
Yep.
Nothing exciting, nothing too great, but you get to see the team.
Yeah.
So.
And then we got at the bottom Jim Aparo's classic signature, just the JA. I love that.
Yeah,
that's it.
So there you go. Yeah, I would have preferred Black Lightning front and center, but we get Geoforce. And...
I'm sure Tony Isabella would have as well, right?
Man, this Geoforce guy.
Yeah.
Not a fan. All right.
Right. So then we cut to the interior and we get this awesome splash page. I love this. We get the whole team in individual panels, all basically in silhouette with dark blue highlights kind of like, behind them, like backlit. And then they're all against these yellow, like solid yellow or orange backgrounds. So really cool. I love this. And then we got a quote here. This is how you know it's a good story, Mike Dell, because you quote, you copy a famous quote from literature. and its men will awake presently and be men again, and color and laughter and splendid living will return to a gray civilization. But that will only come true because a few men will believe in it and fight for it, and fight in its name against everything that sneers and snarls at that ideal. And this is, I hope I pronounce this right, Leslie Charteris, The Last Hero.
No idea. I think that's all made up.
Yeah, no idea who that is either.
Yeah. And then at the bottom, presenting 6 fighters for our troubled age.
Yeah.
Wow, the outsiders.
Look at this. Just for the record, he's a British-Chinese author, this guy, Leslie Charteris. Cool, eh?
He's very good.
Yeah. So anyway, then we cut to the next page, and we got a double-page spread, The Outsiders, and we see a city, I don't know if it's Metropolis or New York or what, but the outsiders are kind of running over it. It's kind of like an abstract thing because they're gigantic, right, compared to the city, but it's a really cool shot.
Yeah, it's strange because it would seem like they're flying over the city, but of course Katana can't fly and she's just running.
Right.
It's a little strange.
So it's kind of like a cover, a splash page, and another splash page, right?
Yeah, DC was famous for that.
Exactly, right. Just filled 3 pages. Okay.
That's right.
So then we cut to this little... we see this character sitting in a wheelchair in silhouette, and he's talking to a woman who's smoking. And he's basically describing what a nuclear detonation would be like a nuclear bomb going off would be like. The mushroom cloud, and then the blah, blah, blah. And then we see this really cool shot of a mushroom cloud exploding over a city. And then we see the title of the book, Nuclear Fear Part 1, Beginning with a Bang. Awesome. And then basically he's describing to the girl.
Look, it was colored by Adrian Waugh.
Yes.
How about that? Do you see that?
Is it Waugh? Yeah, I guess it would be, eh?
It could be Roy.
Patrick?
But, Patrick Waugh, I guess.
Yeah, good point. So then we see, the nuclear radiation, the electromagnetic pulse, the thermal pulse, and blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, and then, of course, a classic, exposition. You don't need to sell me a nuclear fear, Dr. Shanner. It's the others you need to convince. So in other words, all that was for nothing because she already knows all this, right?
Yes.
And so then he subtly introduces, yes, the people, the families, but they didn't read my book. So he's got this book that he's written called Nuclear Roulette.
Roulette.
Yep. And then
and what's his name there? Eric Shanner? What? Can you read on the book
Shanner,
cover?
yeah, Dr. Shanner. Yep, Eric Shanner.
Oh, it's Shanner? Right.
Shanner,
I couldn't tell if that first N was a K or an N. But all right, Shanner.
And then he introduces how he's going to teach the world, I guess, about nuclear destruction, whatever. He introduces the nuclear family. Now, I hope you did research on these guys.
I did not.
Okay, can I just say, I love Mike W. Barr and I love Jim Aparo, but this is taking the whole kind of superhero tradition of like, I don't know what you'd call this, but when you take a name like a nuclear family and then you just give it a literal representation, which is what this is. So we have a father, a mother, 3 kids, and a dog. And I looked this up. Do you know what their names are?
Well, the older boy is named Biff, right?
Yeah. Okay, hold on a sec here. Wait just a minute. Wait.
I don't know why you name a son Biff. But all right.
Yeah, I don't know either. Well, it gets even weirder than that. Hold on a sec here. So these are the names: Dad, Mom, Biff, Sis, Brat, and Dog.
How the hell does Biff get in there then?
I don't know. It doesn't fit at all, eh? And so basically the father is kind of wearing, it sort of looks like regular clothes, but it's like a white shirt and white dress pants, but with a red stripe running down the sleeves and the pant legs, a red belt, and then like dress shoes, and then a polka dot tie, and then like a hat, and then he's always smoking a pipe.
Yeah, fedora. So he's like a classic 1950s dad.
Right. Yeah. And he's got like a little atomic symbol over his heart.
Yeah.
And then the mother's wearing like basically the same thing, but then she has an apron, like a pink apron over top of it.
Yeah.
She has red curly hair. And then I guess it's Biff, the oldest son. He has a similar outfit, but he has a blue jacket. And
I
then
think, is that supposed to be like a leather jacket or?
Yeah, probably like a greaser. Yeah, like a leather jacket. Yeah. And then Brat, which is the young boy, he has green overalls. And then the girl, which is Sis, she has a red jacket and like a little blue, like a skirt kind of thing. And then the dog is, what kind of dog is this? Like a terrier? Just a little white terrier.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Right. And
I just know cats. I don't know dogs.
Right.
No cats.
And that's it. And then we cut away, and now we're with.
One other thing we need to mention about this Dr. Shanner.
Oh yeah. We revealed his appearance, and he's all like, sickly looking.
Charred up.
Yeah, exactly.
His face is like he's radiation poisoning, and his hair has fallen out, and
right.
So, but he's wearing a smoking jacket and an ascot.
Yeah, of course.
So at least he's classy.
Yep.
But
and so then we cut away to, I guess this is Outsiders headquarters, right? Must be.
Yeah, we're off of the Santa Monica coast.
Yeah. So because
it's kind of like an oil platform.
Yeah, and the funny thing is their headquarters used to be in the Batcave, like in Wayne Manor, I think. Like basically, Batman revealed his secret identity to them, like in issue 1 or whatever, or issue 2, and now they're on their own. So now they're in this oil rig platform.
They used to operate out of the Batcave.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
That is terrible.
Yeah, it's stupid, but whatever. So they're kind of like reminiscing, looking at a picture of themselves from like a few months ago when they were with Batman.
Yeah.
And,
remember when we were relevant when that Batman guy was with
exactly. And then look, now here's the thing is chronologically this might be Looker's first appearance. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. No, I guess not. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. So Looker shows up and she's like, "Hey, since we're on our own now and we're in our new headquarters, let's celebrate." And so she cracks open a bottle of champagne and offers it to everybody, but Katana doesn't want Looker to drink because she's underage, but then
that's right.
She lets her drink anyway. So then they all toast, and then they have their first meeting, right, as the Outsiders without Batman. And they sit at this round table, and they're like, "Now to business. The Esperanza Canyon nuclear power plant, scheduled to open this Sunday, has naturally received threats from terrorist groups." And then this is what's funny, is then it's like, and 1 hour of strategy later, "Okay, see you guys." And then they all go their separate ways. Bye, Looker. Bye. See you on Sunday.
See you on Sunday for the big mission.
Right. And then it's like Metamorpho turns into a kite and Black Lightning flies him away. It's really cool. I love it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
I was too busy looking at Looker's thigh.
Yeah, right. So then we cut over to Katana and Looker, or Halo. Halo moving into their new house.
And look, Halo's got a cat. She's got a little cat.
Cool, eh? Unpacking their stuff, and they're kind of like bickering a little bit. And like, Looker's looking at Katana's family picture. And then
her dead family.
Yeah, her dead family, right.
Her twin children and husband who are murdered.
Right. And then this is an interesting scene. We cut over to Black Lightning, who I guess is staying with Metamorpho.
Oh, Michael, you forgot where Halo is telling the movers where to move the furniture. And she's like, "All right, let's try the couch over here and the stereo over there. No, let's try the stereo over here and the couch there. Lady, my aching back."
Yep. And so
comedy, Michael.
Yes,
comedy.
I love it. So then we cut over to Marina Del Rey, and we join Black Lightning, Metamorpho, who's in his regular human form.
Yes, yeah, this is what I was confused about. Because when I read about Metamorpho, I read that he could not get back to his human form.
Oh, really?
Like that was, apparently he was asked to join the Justice League at one point, and he said, "No, I got to find a way to get back to my human form." And I guess Green Lantern even tried to like use his power, his ring on to bring him to transform him back to his human form, and he couldn't do it because like one of the elements had yellow in it, or I don't know.
Okay.
And then like I just read Wikipedia, so they never explain like that he gets. I guess at some point between then and here, he learned how to put his body together into a normal form. But I didn't. So you don't know how he did that either?
No, because I read some of the issues, but not all of them. But honestly, I was confused because I was like, wait a minute, how is that Rex? Okay, I guess that's Metamorpho. Wait a minute, he's smoking. Did you notice that?
Yeah, and he's like married to a lady.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny.
None of this makes any sense to me.
Right.
But yeah, Black Lightning's there, and they're on their civilian duds, just relaxing, and they're having some coffee or tea. Is it tea? No, it's coffee.
Yeah, it's coffee.
And they're just chatting it up.
Yep, and then we cut over to the Markovian.
Well, we learned that Jefferson Pierce has an ex-wife, and that she's out in Los Angeles, and that's one of the reasons why he wanted to come out to L.A. with the Outsiders to try and patch things up with the ex-wife.
Right. Interesting backstory we're learning here, right?
Yeah.
And then we cut over to the Markovian consulate, and we join Geoforce and his secret identity of, what is it again? Prince whatever?
Brian Markov.
Right. And he's reminiscing about his late father and his brother, King Gregor. And nothing really comes out of that. And then we cut over to Looker.
Yeah.
And basically she walks into a bank, right? Yeah, she's
it's a modeling agency.
Oh, it's a modeling agency. Yeah. So she walks in and she's like, she's like, Mr. Dumont, please. And the secretary's like, I'm sorry, Mr. Dumont isn't seeing any new models today. But Looker uses her looking powers. She says, I see, darling. Look at me. And her eyes are glowing blue. And then the boss is like, who? I told the receptionist, no interruptions. Well, we came to an understanding. I'm Leah Briggs, Mr. Dumont. I'm your newest supermodel.
Yeah, her real name was Emily Briggs, but when she became Foxy, she changed her first name to Leah.
Right.
And you thought it was a bank because like they show her walking by a bank and she's reminiscing like,
right.
I remember when I used to work at a bank and I was a mousy bank teller.
Right.
I don't know. Did her husband leave? Oh, you don't know much about Looker, huh?
No.
Because I guess when she showed up back at home, being all foxy, it kind of caused trouble with their marriage.
Okay.
Because she's like a different kind, like she's a completely different person now.
Right.
She's all like, in a way, arrogant. Like she's really, high on herself.
Ego,
like, I'm exactly. So hot. So anyway.
Yeah. And then we cut over to the nuclear power plant mentioned earlier, right? Because, there's going to be a mission here on Sunday. So, look, it's Sunday. Perfect.
That's right.
So then the announcer, they have like a news conference, and the announcer's like, and as predicted, the scheduled opening of the Esperanza Canyon nuclear power plant has attracted a swarm of both curious citizens and protesters picketing the plant opening. And in the crowd, we see Halo. And she's kind of like, undercover. She's a spy there. And then we see Black Lightning. And he's, trying to... he's using his powers to detect, like anything that's generating any kind of energy or anything. And so he's like, whoa, somebody around here is carrying enough juice to light up a small house. And then he looks over and is like, oh, it's just that family carrying a ghetto blaster. It must be that. But we know it's because it's the nuclear family, right?
Yeah, she's carrying a radio. He thought it was enough energy to power a city or whatever, but no, it's just that little girl's radio.
Yeah, exactly.
Never mind.
So then he radios over to Katana, Looker, and Metamorpho, who are outside the base. And then we cut back over and we see these dignitaries coming in. Among them is Geoforce, Prince Brian Markov of Markovia. And then
and he spells Brian Brion.
Yeah, well, I think it's supposed to be like Eastern European, so maybe that's why. I'm not sure.
I guess pretty fancy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we cut over to so this is the girl from earlier.
Yeah, she's like the professor's assistant. They were doing some experiment.
Right.
And
she's parked in this little like kind of truck or van, like a big van, whatever you want to call it, outside of the nuclear base. And then she radios in to these guys, and she's like, what's the code? And they're like, Operation Yellow Streak. And she's like, proceed. And we see these
Well, the experiment has to do with fear.
Right.
She wants to study how a large-scale attempt to see how a major city copes with the fear of nuclear annihilation.
Right.
That's their experiment they're doing.
Right.
They're basically going to trick people into thinking that LA is going to blow up.
Yes. So. See how this turns out. So then we cut over and we see Katana and Looker outside, and Looker's like, someone's coming. And then Metamorpho he is... What is he doing?
He's like pissed because she like yelled in his head.
Oh, right. I don't know how your psychic, telepathy can be loud, but who knows, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so then they see the bad guys, trying to sneak into the base, but then sure enough, Metamorpho turns into, what does he turn into here?
I think like a bunch of tar. Right?
Oh, okay.
Like he's something sticky. So I don't know what element that would be. What element is tar?
I don't know.
But,
yeah.
But so they're all like shooting him and the bullets go right through him. Then they're punching him. They get stuck in his body and stuff. So,
right. And then, so anyway, and then Katana, she joins the action. And then one of the bad guys takes a shot at her, but she ducks and then throws a throwing star? A ninja star?
Shuriken.
Shuriken.
Okay, I think that's the technical term. Yeah, I think so.
And then she spares him. She's like, I spared you so you could talk. It would be unwise to disappoint me. And then Looker uses her powers. I love this. She makes them fall in love with her. And then they're like, she's like, I'm Looker and you boys, you're both in love with me. And they have little hearts floating around their heads. And they're like, in love with you. And then she leans up against the tree and is like lifting up her leg. And she's like, that's right. And why don't you show me which of you loves me more? Me! No, me! And they're punching each other in the face. I love that. Yeah. And then we cut over to the professor's assistant. And she's like trying to communicate with the guys, but they've all been knocked out by the outsiders, right?
Look at this panel here, the inset panel of just her eyes.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like a Yogi Bear situation. Her eyebrow goes over her hair. It's kind of, like an old cartoon character.
Good point.
Yeah. Yeah, Jim Aparo. He's cutting some corners. I'll say that.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Pardon me. So then we cut over to now the nuclear family are coming in, right?
Yes. They know some secret entrance way.
Right. I love this.
Oh, because I guess that professor helped design the plant.
Right.
Yeah.
So then they know a secret entrance to get in, so they go in, and then it cuts to inside the plant, and there's like a little tour being shown. And then while the tour is going on, the nuclear family is sneaking in, and they're telling they're shushing each other. Shh. And then they get to like whatever this.
But yeah, they're all in a line.
Yeah.
The dad is shushing the mom. She's shushing Biff. He's shushing Sis. She's shushing the brat. Then the brat is shushing the dog. But the dog just has a question mark on his head. Like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Right.
Why am I? Yeah.
So then they get to the like main nuclear reactor, whatever it's called. And then there's a red door with a yellow sign that says, no admittance when red light is on. Danger, radioactive, right? And then the guys who run the plant can sense that something is going wrong. So then I love this shot. So Prince Brian Markova is like standing there, but then as these guys are trying to figure out what's going on, we cut to, it's almost like a Superman shot. He opens up his shirt and he's got the GF on his chest, and over his shoulder we see the guys walking away. I love that. And then we see, the alarm go off, beep, beep, beep. And then we see Looker, we see Black Lightning, and they put on their superhero costumes. I love it. And
I was trying to think what GF could stand for, and it reminded me of a very funny Norm Macdonald joke. And,
which one?
Well, about his uncle, who he did all these great things in life, but no one ever, when he walks down the street, they never say, hey, there goes the guy who built the bank, or there goes the guy who was a balloonist, or there goes the guy. But no, they don't say that. But you have sex with one goat, and that's what they say. Okay. And GF.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But anyway.
Hilarious. So then we cut back to, so these guys are freaking out because they're like, it's going to explode, the plant's going to explode. And so everyone's scared now, right? Which is going according to plan, right? Yeah. And so then the assistant's like, chapter 1 continued. They know the emotion, as we all do. The quickening pulse, the coldness of the stomach, the ash dryness in the mouth. They know the taste of fear, know it better than their sweetest dreams or their deepest love. So then we cut over to the nuclear family, and they basically they use their powers to melt open an opening, right? And they're like,
they rip it open, I guess.
Yeah, they rip it open. Yeah,
and they're ripping it open, the core, the nuclear core,
right,
of a nuclear power plant. They just ripped it open.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a problem.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah.
It's a lot of radiation.
But they're loving it. They're getting powered up by this radiation, right? And then, of course, they're all staying in character. So the daughter, Sis, is like, oh, bummer. I forgot my suntan lotion. If my skin breaks out. But then, sure enough, just at that moment, the outsiders come in, right? And
see, here's where I was confused, though, Michael, because that nuclear core is still exposed.
So you're saying, how could the outsiders just stand there?
Yeah, I mean, maybe Black Lightning, can he absorb that energy, kind of? And
maybe
Halo,
and maybe Geoforce.
I don't know. That's
Good point.
But
so then they start fighting, right? So Brat, or no, which one is this? Brat or Bro?
That's Biff.
That's Biff. Biff shoots his red laser energy thing at Black Lightning, but he ducks. And then Brat, what does he do?
He and the dog, poof, they turn into little radioactive clouds, I guess.
Right. And and they're trying to contaminate Halo, I guess. And then Geoforce flies towards Biff.
Sis and Biff.
And they're shooting him, but then he shoots them back. And then what is it? Father and Mother, or Ma and Pa, they shoot Black Lightning. And then he absorbs it and shoots it back at them as actual Black Lightning.
Literally Black Lightning.
Right.
Okay,
And then Halo shoots Sis and the dog. And then, what's his name? Black Lightning punches the father. And then
no, I think he's actually kicking the father. I was very confused by this too. It looks his fist is up above
you're right. Yes.
But then his shoe is at his chin.
Yeah.
So, it's very confusing, Jim Aparo. I don't know what you're doing here, buddy, but yeah.
Yeah. So. And then they're surrounded. Then they get surrounded by the nuclear family. And then they're like, what are we going to do? And then Looker's like, I could try my stasis aura. And then so she just shoots this green energy out, right? And it knocks them all out. And then Black Lightning goes over to feel their pulse, and he's like, wait a minute, I don't think they're even human. And then
because she thought she killed them. She was like, oh my God, they're not breathing, I killed them.
Right. So then we cut over to Outsiders headquarters, and now this is Dr. Jace. Now who's this? Has she been introduced yet?
Well, that's the lady that gave Geoforce his powers.
Ah, right. Okay.
So I guess she's been introduced to readers of the Outsiders a long time ago. But Michael, the nuclear family, they're robots. They're filthy robots. Look at that.
And I love how the father still has his pipe hanging out of his mouth.
Yeah.
While he's laying down unconscious. Well, yeah, because I guess he's a robot. Maybe it's a robot pipe. But we see this computer screen kind of X-raying through his chest, and we see all these nuts and bolts, right? And and basically, Geoforce is like, can we? Oh, so they're trying to figure out what to do. So they're like, well, why don't we trace them? Can we not trace their power transmission? And then she's like, no, the young woman's stasis beam could disrupt their function because they are entirely self-contained. Well, then what can we do? And then Halo's like, why don't we put a tracer on them? No, and then she says, no, with equipment this sophisticated, we must assume that monitoring devices would be detected. Oh, right. So then they come up with the idea, Looker does, of just taking their bodies and moving them to the coast and just leaving them out on this ledge so that they all wake up and just fly away. But Looker has disguised herself as the mother, while the actual robot of the mother has stayed behind, right?
Yeah.
What a great plan. Luckily, she looks exactly like her, right?
But so that means the nuclear father's doing okay for himself.
Yeah, you know exactly. So then,
but I like how Aparo, notice how he draws as Dr. Jace. She's wearing glasses, but you don't see her eyes behind the glasses. They're just solid, spectacles.
Yeah, it's cool.
So it kind of looks like a little orphan Annie. The old cartoons, just it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, good point. Probably saved him a few minutes of drawing there.
Yeah, that seems like it'd be a theme for this issue. He was cutting corners everywhere.
maybe, yeah. So then we cut over back to the headquarters of the what's his name, the doctor, the scientist.
Yeah, Shanner.
Shanner. And then the nuclear family comes back and they're chilling out. They're like, "Oh, mission accomplished." And then what's her name? The assistant.
I don't know her name. Yeah, just the assistant.
She looks over at a picture and she's like, "Oh, look, this picture, your family." And he's like, "Yes, they were all I had." And then he's like, he's like, yeah, and I lost my whole family, but I'm going to get back at the world by blowing up Los Angeles. Those two young to remember Hiroshima and Nagasaki will have a first-hand example. And then the assistant's like, that's mad. And then you see off panel, gasp. And then the bad guy's like, what? Who was surprised? And then the rest of the nuclear family surrounds Looker, and they're all pointing at her because she is obviously the only one that's not a robot. And so then she takes off her mask, and she's like, all right, I did. Look, Dr. Shanner, look at me. So she's trying to hypnotize them, but then she gets shot in the back by... Is that Sis? Yeah, Sis and Biff. And then she falls over, and then the bad guy's like, I don't expect you to understand, for I must do this for all the families of the world. And then we see the assistant kind of like looking back at the nuclear family, and she's like, and the narration says, Professor Y knows the emotion, as we all do, the quickening pulse, the coldness in the stomach, the ash dryness in the mouth. She knows it better than her sweetest dream or her deepest love, the taste of fear. So now she's scared.
Yeah, she's scared. Because she was such a good person who was just pretending to, she was just emotionally torturing all of Los Angeles, trying to terrify people. But she's good now. She doesn't actually want them to die.
Yes,
she's
having a change of heart. Yes,
but the one thing we didn't, I don't know if we clarified properly here, is the other Dr. Shannon or whatever, his family died due to radiation poisoning.
Right,
and that's also what scarred him up. So the nuclear family is his family.
Yes. Oh, yes.
He built these robots to look exactly like his family.
Right. Yes.
So, and that's why they're going to get revenge.
That's right.
I guess revenge on just the idea of nuclear technology, like being the death knell of civilization. Is that what he's saying? Like it's too dangerous?
Yeah,
it's
I think
kill everybody,
so. Yeah.
So he's just going to go kill everybody anyway.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I guess so. That's his motivation. Yeah.
But Mike, we're not done yet.
Oh, that's right. We got one more thing. Okay, this is so good. I have to read the whole thing. Okay, so we have I thought this was going to be like another full story. This is Halo in Statue of Limitations. So we see Halo floating in the air, and we see a guy down below, and he's like, Miss Halo, the most holy Rama Lama of Ding Dong has hired me to fill his American residence with Halo statues. And she's like, statues of me? Oh, neat. And then the narration's like, and we see a bunch of people, chipping away, creating these statues. And Halo in her mind is like, wonder if Venus de Milo started this way. And then one of the workers is like, Pant, this is the last one. And then we see the guy from the first panel is like, well, your glory. And then we see a guy coming in who's kind of dressed like a monk. Like a monk. Yeah, he's got a hood covering his face. I'm sure glad G.I. Jolie is not reviewing this with us, because then the monk is like, I am telling you, my slave, I am not liking it, not at all. And then his hood comes off, and it's an Asian man colored completely yellow. And then his assistant's like, but you wanted statues of Halo. And then the monk says, not of Halo, oh worthless one. I am wanting that device which rings. And one says, hey, Halo, is that Chew? And then Halo and the assistant flip over backwards like Charlie Brown out of the panel. And it says thud, thud. And then the end. Wah, wah, wah.
A little racist joke there.
Yeah.
But it would they screwed it up though, because the panel before the big punchline, he says, but you wanted statues of Halo. He should have said, but you wanted Halo statues. Like, to make sure you get the echo of Halo statues, Halo, is that Chew? Because, statues of Halo sounds nothing like Halo, is that Chew? So you should remind the reader that he asked for Halo statues.
Good point. Anyway. Good point.
Yeah, because this whole thing's drawn like a really cheap little comic.
Yeah, it's almost like Archie or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Why, Michael? Why was this there?
Why is this there? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Good point.
But it was done by Mike and Jim. Are they very good? This Mike and Jim, are they famous?
Well, it's Mike W. Barr Jim Aparo, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought this was a team of comic wonders.
No. The same people that did the story we just read. Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
Then why? This is
I have
the question.
Maybe they needed one page to fill. I don't know.
I guess, but this is like I don't know, man. So let's do this whole book about nuclear annihilation and the dangers of the atomic bomb. And then let's end with a racist cartoon.
Yeah. Not a pretty sight.
Whatever. All right. So there it is, The Outsiders. Yeah.
Well, before I say anything, I should say one day I walked into my local comic store and saw about 20 of these issues in one bag for $20. I bought them, and then I spent the next 5 to 10 years filling in all the gaps, and I eventually got all 66 original issues of The Outsiders, strictly because of the Jim Aparo art, okay?
Well, you mean all 66 of the 2 series?
Yeah, combined.
Yeah.
And I started reading them 2 weeks ago, and I will be selling the entire collection this weekend, okay? So...
Yeah. Here's what I'll say. I kind of like Barr's trying to be like socially conscious and all that. He's trying to do something bigger about the threat of nuclear annihilation and all that. So all right, that's fine. He's doing something there. And the gimmick of the nuclear family, I see what he's going for there. Right. So that's fine. You know, little humor, making him look like the 1950s as well. But then we find out it's the Doctor's own family, so it's a little tragic there and all that, whatever. So that's kind of cool. I like a team book is always tricky, Michael, because you got to do just enough with each member of the team so that readers feel they have some connection to them. And I feel like I know all these characters okay from reading this.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So I think he did a good job there. Like, he gave them each a little scene where you got the internal conflict of Katana being like the guardian for Halo, which he feels she's losing Halo to Looker, because Looker's a bad influence on her, like a mom would worry about her daughter falling in with the wrong crowd, you know? And then we know Katana's mourning the loss of her family and all that stuff. We see Jefferson Pierce, Black Lightning, you know, he's got internal conflict. He wants to get back with his ex-wife. I was still confused about Metamorpho and what's going on there. I don't know. It seemed weird about his wife and all that. I still got to read. It almost seemed like they were acting. Like it was like they were putting on an act.
Okay.
Because she was like way over the top with how much she loved him and how much he loved his wife. And
right,
so I don't know what's going on there. It almost seemed like she was a robot. But yeah, so you get a glimpse of inside all these characters. So I like that. Some of the other stuff, like this doctor who wants to do this experiment on terrorizing all of LA, and then she's suddenly a good person. Then at the end, I can't let them actually murder these people, even though I was going to terrorize them. I don't know, it seemed weird.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing: is Mike W. Barr. Now, if you remember, he wrote, those late period Brave and the Bolds, and I like those. He also wrote our favorite comic, Camelot 3000.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
Why didn't he put a crowbar with a flashlight?
Good point.
Because it hasn't been invented yet.
Yeah. And also, I skim read like Green Lantern, like number 89 to 225, and his run is probably the best. He's better than Denny O'Neil. He's better than Merv Wolfman. He's better than Steve Englehart. So I definitely like Mike W. Barr, but I just find that maybe his scripts are a little bit too light. Like, they're definitely good. They're, they're entertaining and that, but they're a little bit too, almost like Saturday morning cartoony,
All right.
Did I lose you?
Like it's not awful.
No.
Like, it's not terrible.
No,
like, the writing's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like incompetent or anything. Like, it's fine. So yeah, I liked a lot of the stuff he did here. Jim Aparo, he's one of the all-time greats, and I usually really like his stuff. His storytelling here is top-notch, usually.
Yeah.
But I think the actual work in each individual panel, there's a lot of really sloppy panels in here.
Well, Jim Aparo peaked. He actually peaked in the early 70s, but that's when he was doing, I think, bi-monthly books. As soon as he went monthly, he was never as good as he was back then. So even at this time, when he's kind of in his mid-career, yeah, you can tell he's kind of rushing a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the sense you get. Like, he's just hurrying to get this done. But I mean, it's still, again, storytelling's good and everything. And
that's the thing. If you just, like, maybe the details are a little rushed, but if you just step back and look at the page, everything is perfect, right? Like, the storytelling's perfect, the layouts are perfect. It's just great.
Yeah, it's just the details and the figures and stuff like that. It's the faces will be real clunky sometimes, but
right.
Whatever. Like an eyebrow going up above the hair.
Right.
That's strange. But anyway, so yeah, it's still Jim Aparo. So I don't know. I don't hate this.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Yeah. See, like I read the first maybe 20 issues of the Batman and the Outsiders, and it was fine. But yeah, it wasn't like riveting. So I kind of just gave up on it,
The other interesting thing about the Outsiders, we got 3 ladies and 3 dudes.
Yes. Good point.
Yeah. Usually you have just like a token lady in there.
Good point. Yeah.
So
we've also got an Asian character and a black character, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a Metamorpho character.
Yeah. There you go.
Underrepresented. So yeah, I mean, I don't despise this in any way. So I'll give it a 6, Michael.
Yeah, me too. I'll give it a 6. Look at that.
And if we learn nothing else here today, we at least know what GF stands for on that guy's costume.
That's right. That's right.
All right, there
Woo!
it is.
All right.
Anything else about Outsiders?
Not really. Only that, like I said, I have the entire series, and I will be selling them soon. So
yeah, I won't read any more of this.
Yeah, okay.
But it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I agree.
It's not bad. All right, so next week, I almost said month. Next week, well, I guess we will be in a new month. Oh no, Michael. I got to check the calendar, but will it be Shocktober next month?
September 30th, but it will air in Shocktober. So I hope you're picking a horror comic.
Well, kind of.
Okay.
Not really, but kind of. I want to go, we're going back to 1975. Man-Thing, issue 4.
Nice. Wait,
so it's kind of horror.
Have we ever done Man-Thing yet?
We did Swamp Thing.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
So now we're going to do the Marvel equivalent, Man-Thing.
Number 4?
Number 4 from 1975. And this has the Fool Killer is in this issue.
Oh, so this is Steve Gerber.
It is Steve Gerber.
Yeah.
And the artist is, Val Mayerick or something like that?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
It's a fellow, right? Val?
Yes, I believe so, yep.
Yeah. But yeah, so there you go. Man-Thing, 1975.
Very exciting. Looking forward to it. All right. So I guess that officially begins our Shocktober. So everyone
I forgot all about Shocktober.
Oh, I never forget about Shocktober. But so everybody be sure to tune in next week. And every week we will be reviewing a different Bronze Age comic. 1 week I pick, 1 week Mike Dell picks. You can hear all of our episodes on Stitcher, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts under Comic Book Syndicate. Also, the Comic Book Syndicate Twitter feed, YouTube channel, and Facebook page, and Comic Book Syndicate website. So until next Tuesday, disperse!